Okay, I think we're good. We're recording. Sounds on. Okay, thank you. Sorry for the delay. Okay, so my name is Charles. My favorite movie I thought of was John Wick, by the way. So I've been teaching CoderSchool for a long time. I've been the teacher for Android, Ruby, and iOS at CoderSchool, and this is the first time I'm teaching React. I'm teaching with Jiren. About my programming career, I've been programming for about 10 years, give or take. And a lot of that time was spent in web programming. So I did a lot of Ruby on Rails, a lot of Python, and a lot of JavaScript. So I'm a little bit older, and a lot of my experience is with this thing called jQuery. We won't talk about that at all in this class, at all. But just know it's something out there. And I'm so happy that you guys aren't learning that way. I'm really excited to teach you about the new way to program front ends. Jiren also has strong feelings on this. What do you think about React, Jiren?
So when I first started my programming career about 9 years ago, Charles has moved beat a little bit.
A whole year.
I was also using jQuery and PHP, and at that time I just basically stopped front-end programming because it was so obnoxious to me. But recently I started again with React, and it's definitely a framework that really brings the joy back into front-end programming. You just think things and do things, and it kind of just makes sense. So I really, really like React.
But at first, when I first heard about React, I thought it was super cool because it's Facebook-backed and lots of people are talking about it. But I found it really scary at the beginning. It's very different than other frameworks I've used. And at the time, I was really into Backbone or jQuery. So it's hard, and I don't want you to get discouraged if you haven't done this kind of programming before. It's a new way to think. But that's part of what makes good engineers. So we get to have these great jobs, we get to have fun, build things, and sit in nice air-conditioned rooms. I think the hard part about being an engineer is we always have to learn new things. So the more you learn, the better you'll be. And luckily, like most of the things, the more you learn, the more you realize it's all kind of the same thing in different formats. I would say, though, React is a bit of a departure from anything that I learned before. So it's a new type of programming, actually called functional programming, which is now becoming much more popular with Haskell and functional Erlang and other functional languages. But it's that applied to web programming. We also have Hui. He's your TA. Hui, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Hui. I'm JavaScript developer. I'm working in France. It's a Swiss company. I have used to use other framework and programming language like .NET before, and I switched to JavaScript from the day I used the early days jQuery, like you guys see, and I switched to Angular 1, and after that I moved to React.js and have different feeling of programming, and it's really shiny when React combined with Redux. I hope everyone has same feeling like me when that two go together, and I'm here to help you guys. If you guys have any questions, just ask me. Configuration or anything, just ask. Any questions, please.
And as I mentioned, this is the first time we're really teaching this React Native Combined course. So it's a lot for me and Jiren and Hui to learn as well. But even as engineers, you should always be learning. That's the CoderSchool motto, and hopefully you all adopt it while you take this course. So before we talk about this amazing new technology, React, I just want to go over some basic administration stuff. This is the first class, so I just want to tell you about how the class is going to be run, what you can expect, and what the rules are. So first, this class is 5 weeks with an optional 6th week. So every week's structure is going to be about the same. On Tuesdays, which is today, you'll have a lecture. So that means instructor, myself or Jiren, presenting slides and doing a code walkthrough. So we don't spend too much time on slides here. In fact, I think today you'll have the most slides of any day because it's all these boring class rule slides. But that's what you can expect on Tuesday. And on Thursday, we won't have, I think, any slides at all. It'll be a hands-on programming exercise day. So we'll prepare a special exercise for you with different checkpoints that you work on in pairs. It's very important to work in pairs because it helps you learn a lot faster when you're working with someone else. But then the biggest part of the homework is the third part, which is the weekly assignment. So every week you'll have homework. And the lecture and lab will help prepare you for the homework. And I'll go over this week's homework in a little bit. But the important thing to note there is it's a strict deadline on when it's due. It's due Monday at 22 hours. So when is the homework due? Everyone say
Monday.
You're fine. So it's due Monday at 22 o'clock, and we're very serious about that. And I'll go over that more when we get to the rules. So after 4 homework assignments in the 5th week, we'll work on your final project. That's the next slide. And on January 2nd, tentatively, we'll host a virtual demo day. So what is virtual demo day? It's a good question. It's another new thing we're trying with this class. So in the past, if anyone's familiar with CoderSchool, you may have been to a demo day event. I know I've seen some of you there. Victor, you've been there. It's where everyone gets together and presents their projects to a group of guests, and there's prizes and fun things. It's a lot of fun, but we're going to try something different this time. And instead of renting out a restaurant and making everyone go through traffic in the evening, we're trying to host it online. So we'll still have judges and prizes and things for the best projects, but it'll happen in a virtual setting. And also, this time we're opening up the ideas on what you can work on to 3 different things. The first one is still what I recommend, which is to work on a new project. We'll help you pick an idea and do the whole project from start to finish. You'll draw some sketches, you'll do a little bit of customer research, and you'll build a prototype. So it's kind of like a week-long hackathon for people who choose that option. And you can start thinking about your project ideas now if you have fun ideas you want to build. The second, though, is if you want to learn more about React or you find some interesting topic that we don't quite cover in class, you're welcome to try and build some educational material around that. So we only have 5 weeks together, so there's lots of really interesting things we won't be able to get to. But if you want to help learn about something and do a little research project on something else about React, that's a really cool way to go for the more academic, university types. Or the third option, which is the bare minimum but can be really interesting, is we do have those 4 homework assignments. They're all a little bit basic, but you could really take a week and make one of those into something really awesome. And you're welcome to try to do that as well, to make something like a really awesome, the best homework assignment ever created. And during that 6th week, in the earlier slide I mentioned we have 5 weeks of class and an optional 6th week. The 6th week is where we'll just have open office hours. The instructors will be around at certain times, so you can come get help. We might rent out a small co-working space area so people can just hang out all day. We'll see how that works. But the idea is for everyone just to work on their projects to get ready for their final demo day pitch. Any questions about demo day or projects? Yeah, good question. No, we're going to put you in teams. So either teams of 2 or 3. So take a good look around you. If someone had the same movie taste as you, maybe that's a good sign of a potential teammate. Any other questions? Oscar, you look like you had a question.
So we start work on that in week 5?
Yeah, officially we'll start in week 5, but of course I can't stop you from thinking about it sooner. So if you have ideas, start thinking about them. But we won't focus on that until week 5. And so we had always be learning. We also have this other philosophy at CoderSchool, which is learn by doing. So that's why we don't have too many slides or too much presentation. We force you to do code or watch people code by doing things. The only way you can really say that you've learned React is after you've built a React app. And sometimes it's hard. It's a lot easier just to watch slides and say, oh yeah, I get it. I totally understand this. Very easy. But if you can't actually write the code yourself, we don't think you've learned it. So please always remember, learn by doing. Thank you, Jaren. Okay. Now, class rules. So you must come to every class. So except for one. So you should come to every class. We're running a short class this time. There's only 5 weeks, 2 sessions each. That's only 10 sessions. If you miss one, that's already 10% of the class. You can no longer get an A- territory, 90 out of 100. So please make an effort to come to class. If you have to miss class, obviously that happens. Please just tell me in advance. If you, as much as you can, I can help give you some of the materials earlier, or try to schedule some time with you to go over the material, maybe on a one-on-one, or to spend 20 or 30 minutes with you. You must be on time to class as well. Because our time is so short, it helps a lot if you're on time. It maximizes everyone's time together. I understand it might rain at some point. It might be difficult to get here on time. There's a lot of traffic, but please try to make the most of our time together. This is a repeat of a previous rule, which is you must submit your homework at 22 o'clock every Monday. What do you do if your homework's not done at 22 o'clock on Monday? Any ideas? Yes, you should submit what you have. So hopefully you have something, but you have to submit something. As long as the instructors know you're following along and you're trying, we can help you. But if you just submit nothing, it's very difficult for us to help you, and not fair for your other classmates who are working really hard to hit that deadline. Also, just because the deadline is 22 o'clock on Monday does not mean you cannot submit on Sunday or Saturday or Friday. You can do it earlier, and I encourage you to do so. You are allowed one 24-hour extension of homework, but you have to tell me before the deadline. Just say, hey, can I turn the homework in tomorrow? And that's okay, one time. And the last is that you must be honest. So it's not as a big deal for this class. For many of the other CoderSchool assignments, you're able to kind of search GitHub at this point and say CoderSchool Week 1 homework. And you can find lots of solutions. And you could probably try to do something like that for this class, but it does nothing for you if you cheat to get past the homework assignments. So please don't do that. It makes no sense. Any questions on the rules? It's not very many rules, but I guarantee you, at least one of you will be confused about 22 o'clock Monday. At 22:30 on Monday, someone will say, I don't know why my homework, and I'll ask you where the homework is, and someone will say, I don't know. Please don't be that person. So, if you break the rules, we'll have to ask you to leave the class. We don't do this very often. I mean, I'm not here to kick you out or to yell at you or to be mean to you. What Jiren, I, and Hui are here to do is to try to encourage you to do the best you can. So, I'm also a programmer. I've also been through school. When there's a deadline, it makes you work harder, and that's our job, is to push you as best we can. If we made all the homework assignments optional, I guarantee no one would do them. And then we've tried that in the past, and very, very few people do optional homework assignments. But we're here to encourage you, like I said, and not to yell at you or make you feel bad. So we're definitely here to help you. So there's a couple different ways to get help. There's a link to this presentation in the course notes, which I'll show you in a second. But you have the Facebook group, and I like to do that for social things or to make announcements. It's not the best place to ask code questions. It's a little bit hard to type code into Facebook. So that's what we use Gitter for. So Gitter is a chat client. It's a little bit like Slack. Some of you asked me questions on it for the pre-work. So that's kind of the preferred channel for coding questions. Or you can always email us. So rrn1@CoderSchool. That'll send an email to Jiren, myself, and Hui. So one of us should be able to respond to you. And we had one person, I think, Steve, the boxing guy. He introduced himself in the Facebook group. But the rest of you, I would also encourage you to please post an introduction. So the tips for success in this class, they're very simple. There's 3 really good tips. One is start the homework assignment early. Part of learning by doing means the sooner you start doing, the more you can learn. There were some people I know that started the pre-work assignment very late. So we have one student over here who was awake till 3 a.m. last night. He's very tired today because he started the pre-work yesterday. And it happens, right? So he had a friend visiting over the weekend, so he was going to do it on Friday, but then some friend came on Friday. Saturday it was raining, they got stuck in traffic. Always happens. But the really good part of starting your homework early is if you've been programming for any amount of time, sometimes you just need to stand up, go take a walk, or go take a nap, and you come back to your computer, and then everything just becomes clear. Does that ever happen to you, Jaren?
Yes, every day.
What do you do when you're stuck?
Go for a walk, have 2 coffees.
2 coffees.
Always helps.
So if you're doing this at 5 minutes before the deadline, there's no time for coffees or walks. So the sooner you have, the more time you have for your brain to process things. And the more time you have to ask for help. So I will be so happy to answer your questions on Tuesday or Wednesday. And we'll get increasingly more busy closer to Monday for questions. But also please share too. So in the chat or on Facebook, if you find something interesting, if you solve a particularly interesting bug, talking about it and sharing about it to helping your classmates is a good way to not only help them, but help solidify what you learned out of something. And the last one is to push yourself. So as mentioned, our job is to push you to make sure you get the most value out of every minute you spend in this class. One great way is that every homework assignment has a few optional requirements. So there's the bare minimum, and if we're confident that if you do the bare minimum on every assignment, you will have a working knowledge of React. So you'll come out of it and you can apply to a job saying, hey, I know React, and you'll be fine. But if you kind of go the extra mile and do the optional requirements, you'll A, have something really cool to show your future friends, families, girlfriends, boyfriends, employers that you've done. But also you'll learn a lot more and you'll have interesting questions to ask. And I think this is one of the best times for you in terms of people who answer your questions. You have 3 people who know React pretty well who are just dying to help answer your questions. And you'll not have this very often in your career. The main purpose of this class is to make you feel just like you can build anything. So I want you at the end of the class to go to any website, any app, and not feel like it's magic. Be like, oh, I know how I would build that in React or in React Native. So it's kind of a lot. I mean, there's definitely complicated pieces to everything. As you do the homework, for example, you'll realize, oh, but there's this thing and that makes this thing harder. Of course, things take time. But hopefully at the end of this class, there'll be no magic or no big, dark, black spots in your knowledge, at least when it comes to front-end programming. So I want you to feel empowered and feel like you can do whatever you want. That's what we're here for. So 2 people who I think are on the way there are the 2 best pre-works. So these people did do the 3rd tip for success, which is they did more optional work than was necessary. So actually, almost everyone's pre-work here was basically perfect, did all the requirements. The 2 people went above and beyond. Can you raise your hands? Where is Lam? Is it Lam? Lam, there. Okay, Lam's on the left. He did a retweet function. That was an optional. It's very easy, but no one else did it. But also, both these people spend time styling. There's a little bit of thought given to making it look nice. This is something you can do almost forever as polishing, but it's fun and that's how you become truly great. Over here we have Tian. Who is this person? Can you raise your hand? It's not here?
No.
Oh no!
Person is not here.
Worst pre-work.
Yeah.
Worst pre-work. Where is Tian? Okay. Well, he did a good job. He had a little avatar. He wrote CoderSchool is awesome. He implemented a material UI theme, which I thought was pretty cool. So he found a library that helped him do the Google Material UI. He also did nice little timestamps a few seconds ago, things like that. We also have one more mention. Hello. Can you introduce your name and your favorite movie to the class?
My name's Andrew. Favorite movie, Thor. Yeah.
Thor.
Yeah.
The new one? I heard that was good.
This is
You can't sit there because the projector will block the projector.
We'll pass you one of the chairs.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a chair.
Whoever's last needs to stand. We also had another pretty good assignment here. Believe it or not, this is one of our pre-work assignments.
Whoa. Whoa.
So
I
you
can see
have
different
backgrounds. Of course, you still have the character count and post. Then your name does not show anonymously. So it's kind of cool. So even if like the assignment seems very boring, there's always something you can do to make it fun. Your imagination is the limit. And now, whoever this person is, I'm sure is kind of proud of themselves and has something cool to show people when they say, hey, do you know what can you build in React? Who is this? It is John. John, raise your hand. So, yeah, I don't know what he's doing in this class. He's here to inspire everyone else to work harder. These are secrets. Yes, there's always more to do. So the more you do, the more you get out of it. Very simple principle. But every week for every homework, I'll also try to show and celebrate the best homework assignments. So do your best to try to get there. You'll feel good about yourself. Okay, so that's all the class rules. Are there any questions about class rules? Nothing, right? It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so what I'll do, it's 7:30. So I'll just do a quick overview of React. This is the technical slides portion. Not too many slides. Yeah, let me stop the video. Sorry, I need to reset the video every 20 minutes. My computer